Hello listeners, this video is on Prologue to the Canterbury Tales written by Geoffrey Chaucer. Geoffrey Chaucer was born in the year 1340 and died in the year 1400. He is a famous English poet, author. He is an important figure in the Middle English period. His famous work is the Canterbury Tales. He is also called as the father of English literature or father of English poetry. He is the first writer who was buried in Poets' Corner, Westminster Abbey. In his career, he maintained a civil service as a bureaucrat. A bureaucrat is the one who composes court of a monarch or royalty. He was also a courtier. A courtier is a person who attends the royal administration. He was a diplomat and a member of parliament. His famous books are The Book of the Duchess, The House of Fame, The Legend of Good Women, Troilus and Cresside. Let's see an outline about the Canterbury Tales. The Canterbury Tales is comprised of 24 stories. It is a collection of tales. It has approximately 17,000 lines. It is said to be written between 1387 to 1400. This is regarded as Chaucer's magnum opus. Among the 24 tales, 2 prose tales are there. One is the Parson's tale and Chaucer's own tale of Meliboeus, and the other 22 tales are verse tales. The first story is the Knight's Tale and the last tale is the Parson's Tale. Let us now see an outline figure of the prologue to the Canterbury Tales. Before Chaucer starts Canterbury Tales, he first writes a prologue for it. In the prologue, there are descriptions about the pilgrimers who take a pilgrimage to visit the holy blissful martyr St. Thomas Beckett. Totally there are 29 pilgrims, and along with Chaucer it becomes 30. All the pilgrims are staying in Tarbert Inn, which is in Southwark. This prologue talks about the social status of the pilgrims, talks about their profession, their attire. Mainly Chaucer represents the British culture to us, as he gives the description about the pilgrims in the prologue. It gives us a broad picture about the British culture's attire, character, behavior, employment, and shows the miniature version of 14th century society. 14th century society had a diverse culture. Chaucer took the general idea of the tales from Boccaccio. All 30 pilgrims have planned to visit St. Thomas Becket's Shire, who was martyred in Canterbury Cathedral in the year 1170. There are 3 categories of pilgrims who are included in this pilgrimage. The first class of pilgrims come under royalty or nobility. They are referred as first estate, and they are people who belong to clergy or who come under religious order. The second group is ecclesiastical. They are referred as second estate. They would be people who come under noble ranking. The third is commoners, that is mentioned as third estate. There are common peoples included here. This Canterbury Tales has an agreement, that is, all the pilgrims has to narrate 2 stories when they take outward journey and another 2 stories when they take return journey. So totally it is 120 tales, but Chaucer has given us only 24 tales in Canterbury. As I earlier mentioned, prologue is an introductory part. It gives us an idea about the British culture. Let us begin the summary of the prologue. The journey that the pilgrims are taking is the season of spring. It was one spring day, the narrator of the Canterbury Tales, he takes a rent room at the Tarbert Inn and he recommences his journey to Canterbury. That evening, a group of people arrive at the inn, all of whom are also going to Canterbury to receive the blessings of the holy blissful martyr, St. Thomas Beckett. They all call themselves as pilgrims because of their destination. They accept the narrator also into their company. Now the narrator is Chaucer himself. As I said, Chaucer originally plans to have each pilgrim tell 2 stories on the way to Canterbury and 2 more on the way back. The written tales are not completed. We have tales only on the way to Canterbury. In the prologue are the portraits of all levels of English life. The order of the portraits is important because it provides a clue as to the social standing of the different occupation of British culture. The pilgrims presented first are represented of the highest social rank, with social rank descending with every new pilgrim introduced. As Chaucer starts describing the springtime, he says that April rain wets the ground. The liquid of April's rain provide many flowers to the plant. April's sun gives brightness to the plants, birds. The pilgrims also decide that April is the best time to take pilgrimage to the spiritual sites, especially to the Canterbury Tales, to get their blessings. Now let us see the characters of Canterbury Tales. The first is Knight. He is the first pilgrim Chaucer describes in the general prologue, and he is the teller of the first tale. The knight represents the idol of a medieval Christian man at arms. He has participated in no less than 15 of great crusades of his era. He is brave, experienced, and prudent. The narrator greatly admires him. He never backbites or gossips. He dresses modestly. His attire will have a stain because he is a warrior who takes part in the war, and so his clothes have stains. Chaucer justifies the stain that knight has in his clothes. The next character is Knight's son. He is Squire, who's 20 years old. He's lustful and youth and a fighter. He's not noble and experienced like his father. As he is a youth man, he is a lusty fellow. He has a curly hair. He will be in moderate height. He also takes bold chivalrous actions to northern France and Flanders. His intention are to win ladies' heart. His dressing style is decorative in order to attract women. He wears short gown, white wide sleeve. He always sings and plays flute. He dances. He writes poem. His main intention is love. He is mostly sleepless, like a nightingale bird. Though he is lustful, Chaucer describes him as a courteous fellow who's humble and with modest nature. The next is knight's servant. He is Yeoman. Yeoman wears green hood and coat. He has bow and arrow. He keeps his bow and arrow sharp. During nights he has chopped hair, has a tamed skin. In his hand he wears a bright arm guard to carry a sword and dagger. He wears a badge that states St. Christopher. Chaucer says that Yeoman looks like a forester. The next is Pyrrhus. Pyrrhus belongs to ecclesiastical class. The name of Pyrrhus is Madame Egerton. Chaucer satirically mocks her that she sings with her nose. She speaks French stylishly, but she knows English. She follows a dainty good table manners. She dresses well. She is charitable and compassionate. When Chaucer describes her table manners, he says that she will never spill any bits of bread while she dips the sauce. Chaucer also satirically says that she imitates courtly manners. because in order to show a dignified pattern of behavior, she maintains an orderliness for everything. Also, her speech in French is to show off that she is noble. She wears a cloth around her neck. Her nose are not well formed, has grey eyes, small red mouth, wide forehead, but dresses elegant. She wears coral rosary green beads with the symbol Amor Vincit Omnia, which means love conquer all. The next character is handsome monk. Chaucer mocks him satirically. He belongs to ecclesiastical class. His name is Don Pierce. Chaucer says that monks usually live by sacrificing their happiness, but this monk loves hunting. Here, by saying this, he refers to medieval monasteries. He says that medieval monasteries are corrupted. When this monk drives near the countryside, his arrival is allowed because people hear bridle jingling noise. This sound is louder than the chapel's bell. He ignores all the old principles and tries to bring new systems. He is good horseman. His sleeves are trimmed. His clothes are made from squirrel's fur. His hood is decorative. The meaning of hood is the part of the dress extension which covers the head. The next character is the friar. The name of friar is Herbert. He says him as merry wanton friar. Chaucer calls him as merry wanton friar because he likes gossip. He has done many marriages of young ladies. He is popular among rich landowners and wealthy women in town because he has given confession to many. He takes pardon on behalf of others' sin. By doing this, many people provide him silver, and the friar becomes wealthy. The people fail to get forgiveness from God because they only get forgiveness on behalf of this friar. Friar is an excellent singer. Chaucer mentions him as hypocritical friar in a sarcastic way. Usually a friar would live by helping the poor with their money, but this friar, he spends it in wearing expensive clothes. The next character is merchant. Merchant has a forked beard. He wears multicolored chalk, uses fur hat, wears boots, speaks slowly. He is talented in borrowing money. He has many debts on his name, and he walks like a dignified businessman. No one can say that he is a borrower or a person with debts. In order to erase his portrayal of borrower to people, he wears hat and dresses in a dignified manner. The next character is the clerk. He is a student of Oxford University. He prepares his career to become a church member. He looks very thin. He wears thread clothes. He is stereotypically poor person because he spends his money in buying books. He spends his money in practical life like food and clothing. That's why he is thin and poor. His intention is to acquire knowledge. He is a philosopher. The narrator says that he did not find a philosopher's stone because he is poor. His speech on anything will contain moral virtues. Next character is sergeant of law or man of laws. He is a social climber who's hard worker. He is one of king's legal servant who's chosen from barristers of 16 years standing. In order to attain high social ranking, he works hard, highly respectable character. He is an excellent buyer in purchasing land. He excels in legal assistant works. He's too busy, also pretends to be busy. The mistake in his legal documents cannot be found by anyone. He is that much wise. The next is Franklin, also referred as Freeman. He is a member of the parliament. He is a cheerful landowner who has a white beard. His main intention in life is to be happy and wishes to experience everything. He is a gentleman, eats an usual meal. He offers food to anyone who asks for food. The next character is the cook. He's a culinary artist. The cook is into the journey of the pilgrims. The cook's name is Roger of Ware. Ware is a town which is situated at the north of London. He has open sore on his shin. Shin is the front part of leg from knee to foot. He is skilled in his trade. The narrator gives very few details about his physical description. The next is the shipman. He is from Dartmouth. He is wonderfully dressed like Yeoman. He always wears a dagger around his neck. When he travels in ship, he steals wine and drinks from merchants. Also steals wine when the merchants sleep. He owns a ship named Magdalene. He's a good navigator, knows to shift the tides according to the direction. Next is Doctor of Physic or the physician. He's very learned man. He gives good medieval medicine. His medicinal practices and diagnosing methods are based on the principles of astronomy. He relies upon the position of stars and planets. When people come for treatment, he says to them that the treatment is based on 4 humors. Those are hot, cold, moist, and dry. He says something from ancient medicinal text, also quotes things from Bible. He follows diet. Chaucer portrays him as well educated and cunning, greedy, and a bit of boastful character. He wears taffeta robes. He saves money. He says that gold is the best medicine. He also loves gold. He gives importance for gold earning than to knowledge. The next character is Wife of Bath. Wife of Bath is a deaf and a gap-toothed woman. Her name is Alison. She is from a place named Bath. She has a proud nature. He's quick-tempered. She wears red dress because red depicts lust. She's a dominative woman who wears broad hip gowns. She covers her head with scarf. Her scarf weighs to 10 pounds. She wears red heavy stockings, tight laced supple shoes. She's married for 5 times. She is skilled in the art of love. She likes traveling. She also traveled 3 times by taking a pilgrimage trip to Jerusalem and gone to Rome, Cologne, and other foreign pilgrim sites. She also gives advice for love matters as she is expert in it. The next is a parson. Parson belongs to ecclesiastical class. He's a good parish priest. He's from a small town, poor in wealth but rich in holy actions. He is affectionate towards sinners. He's like a shepherd. He's an important character in this Canterbury tale. His intention is to move towards God. He is true to Christ in teaching. He is pious. Chaucer mentions him as devoted character. Next is the Plowman. Plowman is Parson's brother. He is also a faithful character. He has strong belief on God. Also stays affectionate with his neighbors. He wears loose worksman dress. He is a member of the peasant class. He leads a good Christian life. The next character is the miller. The miller is a rough, arrogant person. He has massive physical strength. He doesn't have any honest in his work. He is good in wrestling. His nose has a hairy rat. He has a big nose, nostrils, and big mouth. He narrates dirty stories and steals corn. Chaucer ironically refers him as thumb of gold, which means cannot accept honest in his work. Next character is the Manciple. He comes from Inner Temple. He's a businessman. He's shrewd, rude, and deceptive person. He distributes provision to the lawyers. Chaucer thinks that he is clever because he handles the lawyers wisely. The next character is the Reeve. Reeve means a local officer. He is the competitor of the miller. His name is Oswald. He is a manager of a large estate. He reaps profit for his master and himself. He is described as skinny and bad-tempered. Chaucer says that old managers and herdsmen are afraid of him. He is wealthy than his masters. He has a cropped hair which reflects his social status. He is a skilled carpenter. Profession carpenter is mocked in Miller's Tale. The next character is the summoner. The summoner likes onion and garlic. He brings Parson accused of violating church. His face is scared by leprosy, which is a skin disease. He drinks frequently. He is not qualified for his position as a church official because he abuses his power to extract bribes. Chaucer refers him as off the books, which means he gives counseling to young ladies. He corrupts young people to attain what he wants. He speaks words in Latin in order to sound like an educate. Next character is the pardoner. He belongs to ecclesiastical class. He is highly untrustworthy. He carries a pillow that says Our Lady's Veil. Also carries a cross and pig bones. He sings a ballad, Come Rider, Love to Me. He cheats poor practitioners. He comes directly from Rome's court, comes along with summoner. He looks thin, has yellow hair. His voice sounds like goat. According to Chaucer, he is good singer and storyteller. He is portrayed as homosexual character. He easily exploits poor people. He has feminine appearance. Chaucer says that he has presented all the characters perfectly. Lastly, he presents us the character of host. The name of the host is Harry Bailey. He is an excellent master. The host is just a fictional character who is just introduced to us in the prologue. He is a genuine outspoken host of the Tarbert Inn who accompanies the group of pilgrims. He is a cheerful, friendly person. He keeps the storytelling contest to keep going without any chaos. Although Chaucer narrates the story, the host takes charge of the contest and creates structure for it. He provides good food and strong drink. As all the pilgrims are ready to take their pilgrimage, host gives instruction to all the pilgrims by asking them to narrate a story during the travel to pilgrimage. The best story will be given a free meal in the Tarbert Inn after the return of the journey. All the pilgrims accept this agreement. The next morning, the host invites the pilgrims to draw lots. The person who draws the shortest cut shall begin the game. The knight draws the shortest cut and begins the game with pleasure. Hope this prologue of Chaucer's Canterbury Tales helped you. If you have suggestion or query, please write it down. Thank you for listening.